How to help prevent from you buying a lemon semi truck. How's it going, guys? Welcome back to the channel, Make Money Trucking. So today I wanted to go over some tips and tricks, more of them, to help prevent you from buying a lemon semi truck, specifically an engine that is bad or has a lemon history and whatnot. So there's multiple different things you can do about this, and there's obviously many different ways and opinions to go about doing your due diligence when you're looking at buying a truck. A lot of guys have commented that about they're worried about getting a truck that maybe has a bad motor, or stories about buying a truck and then having to rebuild the motor and having a lot of problems down the line. So the first and foremost thing that you can do when you're going to look at buying a truck, actually go and go check the truck out in person and drive the truck. Drive it around, go and get it on the highway if at all possible, and really run it to the paces. Do some hard stopping and going, and actually just do a nice little test drive for probably about, I'd say, 15 to 30 minutes. And if you got a salesman with you, just tell them to be quiet over there and let you do your thing, because that'll really start to show if the truck is underpowered. Now that's going to be a little bit hard because you're probably going to be bobtailing when you do this, so power can be a little bit of a deception because you're not actually under a trailer, under a load. So that'd be the first thing. Go and actually physically drive the truck and see how it feels. And if your gut's telling you something ain't right, probably something is not right. And then the second thing that you can do is ask the dealer or seller to do a dyno. Run the truck on the dyno and show you the results of that. So basically, a lot more common thing is for you run a dyno with a car, run a car on a dyno to get it tuned. Well, you can also run a truck on a dyno to determine the active horsepower that it has at that time, and obviously some other issues that might pop up, like a lot of times when you do a dyno, they'll tell you how much percentage of power the truck still has. So if it was a 500 horsepower truck, they'll say it's at about 450 to 475, and they'll tell you the percentage loss that is, and it's up to you to determine if you want to go forward. I think the last truck I had dynoed was a 515. It was a Detroit 60 series, and it had I think the horsepower I think it came back at about 500 horsepower, so I was pretty okay with that. It had like 405,000 miles on it, so I continued to run that truck up into the 500s, and then later got rid of it. But yeah, so that's the second thing you do, is get a dyno done, see the chart. This is going to be probably the hardest one to get because a lot of dealers or shops probably don't have access to a dyno, so you probably have to take it to a dealership or specific shop that actually has a dyno for semi truck. So fight on that if you can, and that'll show you how much power it's putting out to know if it's got a good motor, bad motor, weak motor. And if there's something fishy, no one's gonna want to put the truck on the dyno if there's something fishy, because you're not trying to exceed the power limits and risk blowing the truck up. All you're doing is hooking up all the sensors and just getting a true reading. Now the third thing is to ask for an oil sample. So basically what they'll do is if they do an oil change on the truck, actually tell them don't do an oil change. Tell them you want this first, and then usually while they're doing a service or to a service, they'll take a sample of oil and then go test it. I haven't got this done very often. I don't know if I have ever. I think I did it on one truck, and it came back good. I don't know all the parameters what they test for. I'm sure they're testing for how much metal is in it, to see how much the inner cylinder walls and pistons are worn. So that's another good thing to do, is ask for a oil test done, or just to test the oil in the engine. This is pretty common. I got asked about this when I was selling some of my trucks, and I told, yeah, no problem, go ahead, because I was actually kind of curious myself. So those are a few things that you can do to help prevent you from getting a lemon as far as, you know, a truck's engine is concerned. Now, these steps can also be done to find other problems like transmission, maybe the clutch is slipping or something of that nature when you go and do a test drive. And also another thing to check for is when you're doing that test drive, you know, unscrew the oil cap and look for blow-by. You know, I'm not going to get into whether you should have blow-by or not, but there probably is going a little bit, should not be a bigger issue, especially the older motors. But the newer stuff, there shouldn't be hardly any blow-by. So basically, if there's a whole lot of blow-by, that's, you know, a red flag. But if there's only a little bit and it's an older truck, I don't think that's a big deal. I think every Detroit 60 I've ever had has had a little bit of blow-by, but not a bunch of it. So, all right, guys, well, that's some things that you can help to prevent from getting a lemon semi-truck. And good luck out there when you're picking out your truck. Make sure you do your due diligence, and remember, if it doesn't feel right, it probably isn't. So follow your gut on this one and do some more investigation if you feel that's necessary. So hopefully you guys found this informative. Please like and subscribe down below, and comment down below on some stories you might have, if you ever went to go look at a truck that might have been a nightmare, or some good stories about buying a truck and, you know, getting it checked out and everything checks out good. So, all right, guys, I will see you on the next one.